Hey, Jamie.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay.
What?
Thanks for talking.
Jamie, I'm completely bedazzled by your background.
Thanks. Everybody loves my background floating in space. Well, thanks for talking to me. I really enjoyed it. I watched it all yesterday. I kept going. I didn't think I was going to get through it all, but I did. I really liked it.
You watched all
And
of it.
yeah,
Wow.
I was up late. Let's just say that. Didn't quite admit that, but I was up pretty late. So to start off, for people who haven't seen it, tell me about your characters and also what it was about them that made you just have to do it. Just go Daisy then Patterson.
I think that just reading the script, you set up that they've set up such a brilliant premise for a show. You've got these two people who are retrospectively at very, very low points in their life, and then that they both stumble across a boatload of cocaine and some dead people and make the most crazy decision that you can imagine. So that was it for me, really. I was hooked. I was stressed. I wanted to know what happened next, and I wanted to play Janet because I felt that even though she'd done something that I would never do, I understood why, and I wanted to check that she was going to be okay. So the only way to do that was to be in it. Otherwise, I would have to wait a year and a half to find out.
Patterson, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I felt the same way. I felt like it's not a character that I have played before, not really. And I feel like, as well, none of the decisions that he makes, I would make because I wouldn't take those kinds of risks. I like a bit of risk, but not that much. And I loved the idea of justifying, figuring out who that is, who does that, who that is that says that's going to be a good thing. That'll be a good choice to make. And I also really admired the fact that none of the violence in it, and there's plenty of it, as you saw,
Yeah.
Jamie, was without consequence, which is important to me. So that not to be sort of it's immoral, but actually, if you're going to do that, then you need to show that when you do, bad things will happen. So it was really more to do with finding out how someone negotiates that and stays, reasonably sane. And it was quite a roller coaster of a journey. But I'm so glad I said yes to it.
I was going to ask, I guess the difficult thing then connecting with them obviously is kind of their choices because they're not what you guys would make, but what parts did you connect easily with them? Like what parts did you, I guess, either see in yourself or of yourself seeing them for both?
For me, I suppose that you do anything for your child.
Yeah.
That was the main thing for me, and I kind of connected and sort of with Janet, sort of sort of her sense of humor, her wanting to keep a sort of sense of humor even when times were really bad, and what she would do, that the lengths that she would go to try and sort of to try and have her child back in her life.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Samuel's so different to me. It's hard for me to go, oh, I would do that, or none of the decisions, as I said. But I do think that he is sort of blind to his own narcissism, which I can
That's
often
true.
accuse myself of, and think he's doing the right. I'm doing the right thing, and I'm doing this for noble reasons. But actually, when you look at it, you go, well, that's really for you. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the most enjoyable things about watching something like that and thinking, yeah, I know why you think you're doing it, but I can see why you're really doing it. And I did relate to that in various bits of my life. But I do hope that people can see that both of them are innocents in many ways. They don't know what's about to happen through this decision that they make out of sheer desperation, Jamie. They don't make it because one of them's a villain and the other one is innocent or
Right.
vice versa. They do it because they feel like this is the only way out of my situation.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Uh,
say you want it to go right, but at the same time, it's kind of a train wreck you can see coming. It's like
yeah.
not something's gonna go wrong, really quickly. Daisy, was it hard remembering not to use your hand, and kind of how did they? Was that annoying, fun? Like how was
Um,
that to have to?
well, actually, I got it.
You kind of used it, but
I I got it. I got that down. In fact, to the point where when I started Breeders, the day after I finished Boat Story, whenever they said action, I would not move my hand, because I was so used to it, that it's taken me ages to not hear action and be like completely still. But yes, it was. I just had to figure out, how to not do that, because that would have definitely ruined the shot.
remember. And then Patterson, I want to ask you about the head. How did they? I mean, did they make like? Did you do a casting? How did they? Because it looked really good, really cool.
Yeah, I wish I could remember the name of the company. I'm rubbish, and I'm sure that you can find that out from the credits. But they made everybody's head. I mean, I went
Oh,
in there, and there was Judi Dench, there was Peter Cushing, who was in the first sort of Doctor Who movies.
yeah.
There were all these people who I just admired so much. I think John Malkovich was up there. And there's extraordinary white versions of everybody's head because they do a white sort of cast. So I went in there, sort of breathing through a straw for an hour and a bit. And then I thought, well, I don't know what that's going to look like. And when they brought their head out, I was like, that is horrific. That's horrific because that really does look like I would look like dead. And everybody's been going, hey, did you keep the head? Why don't you put your hats on it? Because, I wear a lot of hats. I was like, well, I mean, who wants the death's head every morning just to wake up with their head up next to them or on a table somewhere when they walk into the kitchen? No, 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 I didn't keep it. But it is an extraordinary thing. I don't know where it is now. I wonder where it is
I
now.
was gonna say I probably would have kept it.
Yeah.
No, too morbid. Too morbid.
What did you both learn about yourself from filming this? Like, was it either something that changed for you, or just that you learned kind of as a performer, or just in general?
I think it was a very good exercise in being in the moment because the characters are very much in the moment, and we got, we had the first two scripts, but the other scripts came in as they when we got them as they came. So for me, it was just about I was like, right, I have to play each scene and listen and basically be in the moment and not think too far ahead, and use all my instincts as nimbly as I can, I think. And also don't steal a boatload of drugs, but I didn't need to learn that.
Now you say that.
Oh, I said that because after last time when you did it,
Yeah, I mean that old phrase "necessity is the mother of invention." I think when things are coming at you as a performer and they're different, and you have to justify them, actually you end up being very inventive about finding ways to link this strange left-hand turn that you've been given. And I think I would say this reluctantly because I was also terrified some of the time that was a really good exercise for me to break that. I know what the arc is. I know how to plot this out and actually know because it's going this way. I think I've learned that I'm more spontaneous than I thought I was on camera, at least.
Right. I was going to ask, this kind of connected what you guys were saying. I was going to say, what was other than, and then also, like you said earlier, obviously, with their choices, did you find anything like really difficult about these roles? Anything that kind of stands out that you had a hard time with?
um, and I know I can't. I don't feel like I did. I
No.
felt I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the liar in him made me feel um, sort of that's the difficult thing to play, I suppose, because when people lie, well, it's a complete cover up. They actually there's no sign of it until the truth is revealed. And playing that, knowing that you're lying, is quite tricky and quite challenging. And then I became very good at it, which is kind of scary.
Do you guys, is there a favorite scene that you have that you can, without something that doesn't spoil too much, that you each have?
I think the scene where they find the drugs on the boat, which is the first, the major scene that they meet, was just a brilliantly written scene and a really fun one to play, and it launches the whole thing in a really exciting way.
I
So for me,
agree. I agree. Yeah. Go on. Sorry, Daisy, interrupted
no,
you.
that's what I would say. I think that's just a great scene, and it's what hooked me when I read the script and what made me think I have to be in this, I have to play this part. So I think that scene really.
I strongly agree with that. I
And
mean,
then there's loads more excellent stuff all the way through it, but
yeah.
that sort of had such a powerful effect on me at the beginning, so it's in my head.
I mean, to just the ones I also enjoyed were ones with Daisy where we were trying to figure out how to get rid of all these terrible drugs that we have.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those sort of bits of scene, but it was great plotting through that how these two fishes out of water figure out how to be in the gangster land. I did enjoy those.
Fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know this is sort of, well, you're actors, I guess maybe is the simplest answer, but was it hard sort of balancing? I mean, this show obviously is comedic, but it's very, very dark, so it's not like, funny, haha. Like, is it hard sort of making that, keeping that balance between playing it, straight, but yet I don't know. That's not the best way to ask it, but
No, I know what you're saying. I think for me it would be harder if someone said, whatever you do, there's no humor allowed in this character ever at any point. And you just have to be really heavy and serious all the time. I'd be like, how do I do that? So no, I think that's life, and I think that finding humor in darkness is a big part of life. So for me, that made it make sense. Of course, you didn't want to ever go too far one way, well, too far, too silly, or sort of undermine the actual sort of the stakes of the scenes. But for me, that's just life. So I enjoyed that. I think I'd find it much harder if I had to just be serious.
Yeah, I just wouldn't believe it, I think,
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I always switch off things where I'm like, oh, no one's got any sense of humor. I don't believe it. There's
yeah,
always in the room.
yeah, that's just not life, isn't it? That's just not life. And actually, when you see people who work in quite dangerous or life-threatening or life and death situations, like nurses and doctors and soldiers who I've worked with, there's always humor, because human beings have to find a way to live, and that way we live is through humor and getting a little distance from the things that are happening. So that was lovely that there's those moments, they're real moments in the show too.
yeah, I'm not sure why, but I feel like, did you guys, like, I guess, fool around behind the scenes? I don't know why. It just seems like you guys would have had fun in between, because it's so, like I said, like it's funny, but it's serious, and it's kind of like so dark at times. Did you guys in between sort of,
We had a great time. We had a great time, but also we had loads of lines to keep in our head, didn't we?
Yeah.
There's, the thing with telly is that you have to get 7 pages a day quite often. So much as you giggle or have fun, you're like, actually, we can't get the giggles. We can't fool around too much, because we've got to catch everything on this day. We're running out of light, and I'm not going to ruin it for everyone. So you play within the boundaries of that, but I believe that work should be fun and not horrible. So yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. If we're playing, so we should play, and we did. But
we also have to finish the scene.
we had to finish the crew. There's a lot of them, and
There's
they're
a crew.
they're not finding us funny.
Yeah.
So let's just get on with it. Yeah, so there's a bit of that.
Then I was going to ask you guys, outside the show, what is there something specifically you look for when you're going to do a role, whether or not you do it? Is there something you're hoping for that's the most important to you, I guess?
I mean,
I don't know. How about you?
yeah, I mean, for me, it's always if there's some sort of journey. I think if it's the same person at the beginning as at the end, I'm not that interested. And if they get through something, I'm interested in that. That's what I look for.
Yeah. For me, I think it's just like a gut reaction. I probably would be. I probably, if I broke it down, would be quite similar to that. But it's more that I go, yes, no. I follow my belly.
Yeah. Do either of you have anything else coming out that you can promote that you want to talk about?
No, I've been writing in a dark room for a long time. So I'm hoping to get something I've written off the ground at some point. But Paterson, what are you? Hey.
Well, I wrote a novel, you see, Secret Diaries of Charles Ignatius Sancho, and it's coming out in paperback in the US on April the 11th. So I'm very proud of that. And that's my baby.
That's his baby.
Very cool. Is there some kind of thing that you both, other than getting that you both, now you said about writing, but is there like a kind of role or something that you both would really still like to be able to do that you haven't gotten to do yet? Like, what's kind of your goal, something that you would hope at some point to get to do, either a character type role or somebody you want to work with, something like that?
I'd like to have played Elf in Elf. If you could rewind time and I could be Elf, I'd be happy.
I just want to put some Lycra on and be in a Marvel movie at some point before my knees go and my back goes. I'd like to do that.
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you both. We appreciate it.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a good rest of your day.
Cheers.
Thank you.